Hello, welcome back to Creeping It Colorful. Today is Sinister Saturday, and Mark is going to read a story out of Unsolved Deaths, and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do this because I've colored all my sinister or creepy coloring pages already for the month. So I'm just going to do one of these, and we'll talk about it afterwards. Here's Mark.
All right. I never know how this is going to sound until afterwards. Okay. Ready? Did Bruce Lee die as the result of a dim Mac death strike? Date July 20th, 1973. I was 3 years old. Location Hong Kong. Kung Fu superstar Bruce Lee officially died because of an allergic reaction to a painkiller. What? The conspiracy theories were soon circulating about his death at the age of 32. Kung Fu teacher turned actor Bruce Lee became an international movie star and pop culture sensation in martial arts movies of the 1970s. He died in puzzling circumstances in Hong Kong while working on the movie Game of Death, and rumors soon sprang up around that event. Born in San Francisco and raised in Hong Kong, Lee first appeared in movies as a baby in the 1941 film Golden Gate Girl. He was the son of a celebrated Cantonese opera star Lee Hai-chung. In Hong Kong, Lee learned Kung Fu and took dance lessons, and always a good mover, won the 1958 Hong Kong Cha-Cha contest before moving back to U.S. at age 18. A unique style. In California, Lee developed his own method of martial arts, Jeet Kune Do, which incorporated boxing and fencing with philosophy and more traditional martial art moves. After a stint appearing in the TV show The Green Hornet in 1967 through 67, he taught his Jeet Kune Do method to Hollywood stars including James Coburn and Steve McQueen. Lee appeared in the 1969 movie Marlowe and did fight choreograph in a few films, but moved back to Hong Kong in 1971. There, he became a star. His movies, The Big Boss and Fist of Fury in 71 and 72, smashed box office records in Asia. Way of the Dragon in 1972 with Chuck Norris built on this triumph. Enter the Dragon 1973 was to make him a global star, but this movie was released after he died. Movie of Death. In 1973, Lee was in Hong Kong playing Game of Death with producer Raymond Chow and actress Betty Ting Pei when Lee developed a severe headache. Ting gave him a painkiller. Lee went for a rest, but Chow was later unable to wake him up. A doctor and then an ambulance were called, but Lee was dead by the time he reached the hospital. An autopsy determined that Lee's brain had swelled as part of an allergic reaction to a tranquilizer named meprobamate, one of the ingredients in the painkiller he had been given, and the official ruling was death by misadventure. Some sources suggest the death was associated with Lee consuming hashish to calm his nerves. Cannabis was found in his stomach, and while some medical experts said this could not have contributed to the seizure, others said it could. Some suggested Lee had been assassinated by Chinese triad gangs or that he was the victim of a dim Mac death strike. He had established his own film production company before making Way of the Dragon, and the theory goes that he fell foul of the triads by refusing them a role in this and share in the profits. The dim Mac strike is said to disrupt the natural flow of energy around the body. With expert insight, a practitioner knows which spot on the body to hit to cause fatal bodily disruption, and this can be delayed, apparently so that the effects are not felt until days or weeks later. Was Lee drawn into a fight on a movie set by a kung fu adept who delivered the fatal blow weeks prior to his death? Other explanations were that Lee died because the painkiller reacted with the muscle relaxant he had been taking since 1968 to ease his back, or that he had been taking too much cortisone again to ease his back pain. And it has a picture with some marijuana on it at the top here, and it says reportedly Lee chewed hashish and ate hash brownies, cakes containing cannabis to steady his nerves. That looks pretty good. And then here is a little story, strange story. Lee's son Brandon also died at a young age and in extraordinary circumstances, fueling conspiracy theories that a curse had been placed on the family. Although his father had died when he was aged 8, Brandon had followed him into the movie business. He picked up TV and movie roles from 1985 onward, including Rapid Fire, his first starring role in 1992. Then he was shot in an accident involving a prop gun on set while filming comic book movie The Crow in North Carolina on March 30th, 1993. Brandon was shot in the abdomen and rushed to a hospital where, despite 6 hours of surgery, he died. He was only 28. This next one's kind of a short one. That one was kind of short too, but they just seem so long for some reason. Was there a conspiracy behind the death of Pope John Paul I? September 28th through 29th, 1978, Vatican City, Italy. Conspiracy theories were soon circulating about the sudden death of John Paul, only 33 days after his election as Pope. The election of Cardinal Albino Lucinia as Pope on August 26, 1978, was unexpected and, according to some, not well received in all quarters of the Roman Catholic Church. This, together with the fact that he died so soon after his election and that there were inconsistencies in the initial reports about his death, fueled the conspiracy theories. Nicknamed the Smiling Pope, John Paul I was the first pope for many centuries to refuse to have a grand papal coronation, preferring to be invested with an archbishop's pallium rather than to be crowned. He seemed to be determined to do away with the traditional formality of his office and make the Pope a more human figure. Courting controversy. Church authorities may not have liked this and might also have been concerned over John Paul's ideas about contraception. Banned for Roman Catholics under Paul's V1s. I don't know my Roman numerals.
V is 5, and then 1 would be 6.
So that's the 6th? Because I don't think there's 56. So 6, 5, okay. Encyclical Humane Vitae in 1968, when he was Bishop of Vetro Veneto, Luciano had recommended to Paul VI that the contraceptive pill be permitted for members of the church. Luciani's background was pastoral in church work. He had not served though as a papal diplomat or on the Roman Curia. The Roman Catholic Church is central body of government. Some said that the senior church figures did not respect the intellect. One unidentified cardinal is said to have sneered, "They have elected Peter Sellers," a reference to the British actor internationally famous above all for his performance as the incompetent yet baffling successful French policeman Inspector Clouseau in the Pink Panther series of movies. John Paul I died from apparent heart attack on the night of September 28 through 29 in 1978. He went to bed on the 28th at about 9 p.m. after dining in his Vatican apartment with his secretary's father, John McGee. Early the next morning, he was discovered dead in his bed. Dead in bed. There were various inconsistencies in the facts given at the time. In addition, the authorities did not conduct an autopsy. When this issue was questioned, the Vatican said that autopsies were not held in the case of popes, although one had been conducted in the case of Pope Clement, 1769 through 74. Nope. The official accounts, the book Pope Chronicle of a Death, published in 2017 and written by Vatican journalist Stefania Valesca, relied on the following account. Sister Vincenza Taffarel left John Paul I his coffee in the sacristy of his chapel as usual at about 5:50 a.m. and then 10 minutes later, noticing he had not touched it, went into his room. She was shocked and summoned Sister Marine, who also entered the room. They found him seated in bed in his pajamas with a slight smile on his face and his glasses on his nose, his reading light still on and typewritten papers in his hands. Sister Margarita touched his hands and noticed how cold they were and how dark his nails were. Earlier accounts from the Vatican suggest that his male secretaries and not the nuns found him. There were also inconsistencies in timings. After they had raised the alarm, the deputy head of the Vatican's health service examined the body and said that the Pope had suffered a heart attack the previous night. Felicia's book also revealed that the Pope had suffered from severe chest pain while praying Vespers with Father Maggie the night before he died. The Pope turned down an offer to contact his doctor, and the pain went away. In a foreword to the book, Senior Churchman Secretary of State Cardinal Parolin said that John Paul had treated heart problem with anticoagulant drugs earlier in life, while Patriarch of Venice in 75, Felicia, who also has an official Vatican position, vice postulator, postulator, goodness, dedicated to the gathering materials supporting the Pope's elevation to sainthood, declared that John Paul I did indeed die of a heart attack. Okay, little footnote, and that's it. Whew. Strange stories. One theory favored by those arguing that John Paul I was killed is that he was about to expose corruption in the Vatican bank that linked it to the mafia. Part of this theory is the contention that the papers found in the Pope's hands listed names of senior churchmen who were Freemasons and who were connected to financial shenanigans used to launder mafia drug profits. These claims have been published notably in the 1984 book In God's Name by David Yallop, but never proven. Another theory is that the Pope was terminated to prevent his demoting a cadre of very powerful members of the church's highest ranks. cadre of very powerful members of the church house. A third theory is that John Paul I was preparing to reintroduce the traditional Tridentine Mass celebrated in Latin, which had been largely succeeded by the Mass of Paul VI, introduced by that Pope in 1969. It is speculated that he was killed to prevent his bringing back the Tridentine Mass. Tridentine Mass. Whew. I'm done.
Alrighty, there's a lot to absorb there. Let's start with Bruce Lee. I remember watching his movies. I believe that could be a good example of how doctors tell you not to share your medication. Because maybe if he hadn't, he would still be here. But, when you're hurting and you need the relief and someone's willing to give you something they think will help you, I guess all that good advice goes out the window. It just seems like there's a lot of celebrities, music-wide and otherwise, who have had pain issues that seem to be accidentally overdosing or having a reaction to the medication to help them. And then we've lost good people like Prince, Michael Jackson, to name a few. And it's just a sad accidental happening. And so now we are going to talk about a little bit about the Pope. I don't really have too much to say on that one. It's just, I know that book says Unsolved Deaths. It's just, there's like so many questions about what could have, what might have, so many conspiracy theories. It was actually the same with Bruce Lee. So it's like they don't know whether or not it could have been somebody who fought him and had that special type of technique that doesn't show up until later. That's a pretty sly way of eliminating your opponent, isn't it? What you did, but they won't know what you did until it's too late, and they still won't even know what you did. Well, anyway, we'll get off of all that and we'll talk about this picture I'm doing. I decided I was going to do this picture because like I said, I did all my other coloring for May already. And this one's the Inkala Spooky Cute Chroma Ink Edition, where it says coloring without colors, just one black pen. But of course, I don't like to be the norm, and that's why I decided that I'm going to add a little color to this page. And all you're supposed to do is cover the white lines. And I decided, nope, I'm going to make a little bit colorful, and I'm trying to go with the colors that are in the background. So there's going to be blues, pinks, and whatever, and I'm using the black like they asked because I would think that this outfit would be black. So that's why I went for the black for that. And they're all glittery gel pens. So some of these lines are a little bit thicker than the others, so I have to kind of color it in more than just, see, these are thinner. I could just do that with those. So I'm just going to go around here and do the rest of his outfit here. And then I'll show you what I've talked about, what I've done so far. Okay, so far it was the brick. I did like a hot pink. Did some of the green leaves up here for around the roses. I took a quick gander at this and just grabbed some gel pens. So if I didn't get the right color combos like I should have gold, and I didn't grab gold, but instead of gold I'll use this one for this. It's close enough to gold, so I'll just use that for his buttons and his buckle. Now I'm not too sure about all those dots being covered. I'm not going to do that because that'd be insane. And there's that. So it looks like, oh God, you know what? It escapes me what this is. I know it and I can't think of it. What this is the symbol for. I don't remember. Something to do with, I hate that when you can't think of things. Like the plague or something. I can't remember what it's called. Dang it. Of course, I can't Google it either because I'm using my phone to record this, so that's out of the question. Dang it, dang it, dang it. I'll think of it. I'll put it in the title probably. How's that? Once I remember it. If I remember it before I video it, before I upload it. Dang it. Another sign of getting old, I guess. So, there's this guy who I can't think of. It has something to do with plague, but I can't for the life of me think of what the wording is. That's alright. We'll move on from that. Let's see, what else did I want to do? You know, should be purple in this. I don't even know what the heck this is. What the heck is that supposed to be? I don't know, but I'm going to give him a purple flower bucket here. Because there's purple in the background. Now these circles all do because they're part of that watering bucket here. Watering can. It's a really dark purple. I have a mishmash of gel pens. Okay, so he's got a purple one of those. Let's try to do some of the green for the cactuses here. You know, this one's going to be a little easier because it's not so much too many thick lines, so it won't take as long. There's lots of lots of cactuses on here. So supposedly you're supposed to just use black and it brings out the picture, but like I said, I'm just doing what I feel like doing, being different. And it's whatever you want to do. It's not set in stone that you have to open up this book and just do what they say, what color. If you want to do it all your favorite color, do it all your favorite. I'm doing this because I usually get the wet gel pen on my hands and then I smear it all over the other parts of the paper. So that's why I do that. I'll try to get this done. I don't know if I can because there's pretty much we got to do here. I might have to just stop at the plants and then post it afterwards when I finish it. I'm wondering if that's some kind of plant too, because it looks like it got thorns on it. So I got all my pages done except for, of course, the Dark Fairy Tales one, and I was not going to start that on here because I really haven't taken a good look at that. I haven't really had a moment to take a good look at that page and try to figure out how I want to color it. So one of these times I'm going to finish what I say I'm going to do. So that is the only one that I didn't do for May, which I'm going to probably post that all that stuff tomorrow because we are at the end of May already. Already it has crept up on us. It looks like fire, doesn't it? For some reason. So you know what I'm going to do with that one? I'm going to make it orange, like fire, because that's what it looks like. Famine. Nope, that's not the guy. The guy's name, I can't remember. Dr. Death something. Something or other. Something like that. Now I'll do these flowers down here in orange. And I think that's it. And their centers are yellow. And we have down here some skulls. I just keep going, don't I? This is one of those ones where you just can't stop. I was going to pull out one of my books. It was a dot-to-dot book. And then I took a good look at it. And I was like, what was I thinking when I bought this freaking book? The numbers are so tiny on that dot-to-dot. I will definitely need to have some kind of, which I do have one upstairs in my craft room. I have a magnifying light because there is no way, I don't think I can do that without that. It is really tiny. And I showed you in one of my other videos how you can take a dot-to-dot book and then when you're done with the lines, go over the lines with maybe a black pen or whatever, and the numbers you can white out with a white gel pen or correction corrector, you know, like, what's it called? Correcting liquid. And then you can just, that way you don't see any of the numbers on there, so it doesn't look like a dot to dot. And then you can just color the picture that you created. And there's so many good dot to dot that you can actually see what they are, that they have some really nice pictures. That way you're not wasting your dot to dot picture by then coloring it afterwards, so you can get another use out of it. This will be my last little guy, I believe. I won't get to the rest of it. I don't really have a whole lot of time here. My percentage on my phone was low when I started, so I don't have the means to stick it on the charger while I'm doing this. I don't have a long enough cord. And there is most of that. There won't be too much more to do. This will probably be all a different color green for the grass down here, brown for the worm. I'm going to make that green also, and then make the thorns black. And we got a rose up here. I'm going to make that red, and a little bit more of the thorns. Did I say roses? I think I said roses up here. And then I'm going to make these thorns, like I said, green and black. And then it's done. And then this little stool, if I can find another brown, I'll use a different brown. And then this guy will be done, and I'll post a picture of him. So thanks a lot for coming along on this sinister Saturday. Hope you enjoyed the two unsolved death stories and this bit of different tracing your picture. I'm going to bring it up. You can see some of it is sparkly and how it looks. And you trace it all. And I think I've done another one in here. This one was just in black. This is what it looks like when it's just in black. So it does look good in black, but of course I want to be different and do different colors. And on that note, we're going to end this video with, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, and if you have, thank you so much. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay colorful, stay creative, stay creepy, stay true to yourself, and stay tuned for the next video. Bye bye for now.